In this video series, I want to talk about the craft of writing for the commercial country market. It's a very specific style of writing. The way I put it is that if the range of music all people love is this wide, the range of songs that end up on country radio is probably a little narrower than that. Now I want to be clear that what I'm talking about is the craft of how you put the songs together. I have no interest in debating or defending the quality of commercial country music. This is for songwriters who want to get cuts on major label artists and maybe get those six-figure royalty checks that hits can generate. The principles I'm going to talk about apply to hits that are on the radio today and to hits going back for decades. And they apply to lightweight ear candy and also to deep, serious ballads. But don't take my word for it. Every time I talk about an aspect of the craft, go look at a bunch of hit songs, see if you can find what I was talking about. I'm not saying you won't find exceptions, but I bet they'll be few and far between. So what I'm going to start with is what I think more than anything defines what makes a country song, and that is that it tells a clear story. I'm not just talking about story songs like The Gambler or Ode to Billy Joe. Even in a love song or a party song or a song about home and family, you can identify who the characters are and you know what's going on between them. In the rock world or in the singer-songwriter world, there are lots of songs that have lyrics that are kind of vague and poetic and open to interpretation. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it won't work for commercial country. When you hear a hit on the radio, you understand every line the first time you hear it. Now, accomplishing that is harder than you might think. One of the things that makes it really difficult is that as songwriters, we know exactly what we mean by what we're saying. We have all the information. So sometimes writers write lines like, "I can't believe what she did when he looked at her like that." Well, okay, who's she? Who's he? How did he look at her? What did she do? You know, it's not enough that we know what we mean. We have to let the audience know too. Another thing that trips writers up sometimes is trying way too hard to be clever, and the meaning gets buried in all the cleverness. I made up a poem to illustrate that. It goes like this. Earth and sky unite to soothe the runner's ache. The darkness brings sweetness, but then decay. Isn't that beautiful? It's just so brilliant. I love it. You get it? See, it's a poem about bananas because bananas have a lot of potassium, and potassium helps runners keep from getting muscle cramps. And the way bananas grow is the photosynthesis of the sun and the nutrients in the soil. So earth and sky unite to soothe the runner's ache. You know, and then when bananas, the skin starts to get those little dark spots on it, ooh, that's when they get really, really sweet, but eventually the skin's all black and they're rotten and you have to throw them away. So the darkness brings sweetness, but then decay. Everything I've said is absolutely true, but you're never going to get it unless you already know what I mean. So there's nothing wrong with being clever as long as you can also be clear. If you want to write for commercial country radio, a good habit to get into is step back from your songs, look at the lyrics, and ask yourself, if I had no idea what this song was about, what would these words be telling me? Remember, nobody's reading your mind.